What is up, you guys? Steven here from Just Movie Nights to talk to you about physical media, Blu-rays, 4Ks, and DVDs, or we would like to buy and own our movies and TV shows. This is sort of a live recording kind of situation. This is going to be fly by the seat of your pants uncut because I want to talk about the Kino Lorber sale, which has just started. Goes through the 24th of this month. Their banner there says over 800 titles. Specifically, it's 884 titles. Now, normally I would go page by page on this and go through and make recommendations to you and all that stuff, but I'm not gonna do that this time because there are literally so many movies. So I was trying to figure out what I would do, and what I decided to do is go page by page on my own and then put together a cart of stuff that for me is a mixed bag of things that I want myself, maybe that are blind buys that if you guys have seen before, you can comment, let me know what you think of them before I make this purchase, and then some things that I have already bought that are just in the cart to remind me to talk to you about them, to let you know that they are on sale and that they are my recommendations for the sale. Now, I'm not saying they're the only good movies in this sale, there's so many, they're just the ones that stuck out to me. Like I said, this is a live situation, and are movies that I think are must-owns from Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber has such a diverse selection of movies, though, it's just you could spend all of your monies. So, um, so let me switch over and, bring that screen up. Let's see, because I already have my cart open. Let's see. There it is. Okay. So here's my cart. We'll just talk about these. I'm not going to go too long on this video, but I did want to be able to share this with you guys. I mean, if I bought this entire cart, I think I'm at like 500 something dollars. But like I said, a lot of these movies I already have. I just wanted to bring them to your attention. I'm going to scroll through this list really quick at first and go through the ones that I know that I'm recommending, and then I'm gonna talk to you about why I have some choices in here, things that I want to buy. So let's go to the recommended stuff here. First thing is this box set here, Buck Rogers and the 25th Century Collection. This is the complete TV series from Buck Rogers, stars Gil Gerard, Aaron Gray. They're the two that you really want to remember. If you're in the mood for some kind of silly Flash Gordon type of entertainment, this TV series is so much fun. It is made in the 70s, definitely has a 70s vibe going on, but there's a lot of heart in it, and it's just a really fun series. So it is in my current, um, I've got some extra tabs open here. It is in my current, I guess I'm gonna have to leave it open, tab to buy. So let me see what is happening here. I see. All right. So that's my first recommend. This is like some very professional stuff happening right now. It is on sale for $39. Normally they have it at 99. That I think normally it is about $60. So 60 to $50. I mean that no one sells MSRP. I think it's normally around $60. So this is still a really pretty good sale. It's from 1979. 1,950 hours, or I'm sorry, minutes runtime. So I think you're getting a good buy here. $39.99. It is again my first recommendation and something I'm considering for myself. And there's also to go with that the theatrical film that sort of ties everything up. 25th Century feature, Blu-ray. It's a feature film. Right now it is $8.49. I would say this is normally in the 15 to 17 range. They, of course, MSRP is 25, but either way, it's just half price basically. I think it's a very like again a very fun series. All right, moving on. Again, I'm scrolling through here, going to the things that I've seen. Okay, so I have the card player here, and I'm going to say a couple of things about this movie. This is a Dario Argento movie, and he did this movie back during the era of when CSI and those type of shows were just starting, and he was kind of hooked on them, like so many other soccer moms were hooked on him, and I think he just wanted to riff on that a little bit, so he does with this particular movie. Um, Stars Stephanie Roca, who's a name you'll have heard or a face you'll recognize. um, Liam, Cum- Liam Cunningham and Silvio Muschino. Uh, mm, really butchering the names there. This is from 2004. It's 103 minutes. Let's see. Again, directed by Dario Argento. So let's see what they say here, real quick. If I can, the screen is a little weird. He returns in classic form. Dario Argento returns in classic form with this vicious thriller about a serial killer who taunts police with online video poker, I'm sorry. But for every round the cops lose, a kidnapped girl is mutilated live via webcam. So this will be dated, 2004, obviously. And then even then, it was kind of like hyper real type of stuff. I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's the greatest of Argento's movies, to say the least. But I have it here. If you're a Dario Argento completist, then you want to add this to your collection. And that's why I have it, here in my cart, because I am a Dario Argento completist. I really want to get this in my collection for $8.50. I mean, that's a pretty great deal. This was originally released by Ronin Flicks, and this is essentially the Ronin Flicks release. It's just stripped down uh, packaging for um, Kino Lorber. Picture shows it's still the slipcover, which would be amazing if it still came with that. I don't know. I'm not holding my breath for that. But for $8.50, Star Argento, there's going to be some good visuals in it. All right. So, Code of Silence. This is going to start a run of very familiar types of movies here. I have been on two particular actors from the 70s and 80s that I've just kind of been enjoying lately, and I just want to fill my collection with their movies, and one of them is Chuck Norris. I'm kind of visiting Chuck Norris now that the memes about him have slowed up a little bit. And Kino Lorber has a bunch of Chuck Norris movies. Code of Silence is a classic action film from him. Also stars Henry Silva and Dennis Farina, John Mahoney. You'll recognize Molly Hagan. You'll recognize some of those actors from that era of action movie. $10 is a good price. Obviously, this thing never sells for 30, like they say. It probably, I would bet you this thing is in the $17 range most of the time. But $10 is a good buy. So it is on my list. Andrew Davis, the director of The Fugitive, The Package, and Under Siege. So this tells you kind of where you're coming from with this movie. Comes this riveting turbocharged crime thriller starring action legend Chuck Norris, An Eye for an Eye, Hero and Terror, not really a movie I would reference, in what most critics and fans consider to be his best film. I disagree. This is a really good one, though. Exploding with heart-stopping chases and lethal martial arts confrontations. It's a daring and suspenseful, doesn't tell you anything about it, adventure that pits an honest cop against two vicious crime lords. So it's an action movie, cop drama. Chuck Norris kicking ass. I'm here for it. Recommended. $10. Come on. $10, you guys. All right, moving on. Crimson Rivers. I'm glad there's actually artwork when you click it because it was gone. So this movie stars. It comes from uh, Matthew, I guess Mateo maybe. Kasovitz. It has John Reno and Vince Cassell. Those are two names I think you guys would probably recognize. This is from 2000. I believe this movie was remade in the United States. This movie also have seen this before, has a weird dub. Uh, is when Commissioner Pierre Niemans, who's John Reno from Leon the Professional, obviously. I also recognize him from Mission Impossible. France's leading serial killer investigator is called to examine a grisly murder. He enters a world of secrets, lies, and unthinkable horrors. So this is a sort of Silence of the Lambs kind of riff, except obviously a French movie. I like this one a lot. For $10, it's a great buy. It says MSRP is 25, so it's probably 50 normally. Goodbye. Not goodbye, but a good buy. you know, moving on. I gotta kind of blow through these, you guys. This list is very long. So, as I said, kinda into a couple actors from the '70s and '80s. The other one I'm following a little bit right now is Charles Bronson. I just got Death Wish 2 on 4K from Vinegar Syndrome, so I have to complete the run as best as I can. The others will, probably never see the light of day on, 4K. They are on Blu-ray, and I'm picking them up. Stars Charles Bronson, Hope Lang, Vincent Gardenia, um, Stephen Keats. It's so funny because some of these names, like Vincent Gardenia and different ones, I think of from Cop TV. Um, this one is 17.99, but it is a 4K. That's why it's the price the way it is. They have it MSRP'd at 39.95. I think it usually sells at 27, so it's still a $10 discount. So basically, this picks up with Paul Kersey from Death Wish. All right, I'm sorry. Um, this is Death. I was thinking about Death Wish 2. So Paul Kersey's an architect. This is set in the early '80s when crime was such a big thing. Crime was bad, but it was also big in politics, so it's a social commentary on crime and vigilantism. His family is attacked, and he has to go and get revenge. I don't wanna say too much more, except it's a very gritty grindhouse movie, and I think part of the reason it works is because he doesn't look like an action star, he looks like an everyman. So it's, um really good movie, but it is very grisly, very grindhousey, so keep that in mind. Dogtooth, this movie gets brought up to me all the time. I haven't seen this in many years. I saw it at a special screening at a film festival. It stars, Christoph Sturgiegolo, Mary Sony. I'm gonna stop right now because I'm not doing a great job, but this Blu-ray is $10. Let's see. Uh, graceful, enigmatic, and often frightening, Dogtooth is an ingenious dark comedy that won the pre uh, uh, uncertain regard uncertain regard at the 2009 Cannes. It won an award at Cannes Film Festival, whatever, propelling Yorgos Lanthimos, who's a name you should know now, to the forefront of contemporary cinema. Uh, in an effort to protect their 3 children from the corrupting influence of the outside world, a Greek couple transforms their home into a gated compound of cultural deprivation and strict rules of behavior. But, you know, children cannot remain innocent forever. When the father brings home a young woman to satisfy his son's sexual urges, uh, the family's engineered reality begins to crumble with devastating consequences. I don't want to get too much into this, except that a dark, horrific comedy is really um, a great definition for this movie. I recommend it. I've seen it. Like I said, this is not new to me. I just don't have it in my collection, so I'm happy to add it here. Enter the Ninja. Your mileage will vary on this. This is a canon film from the '80s. I love ninja movies. I particularly love Shokasugi, which is why this is in my list because it's not in my collection. It's directed by Mannheim Golem himself from Golem Globus. It stars Franco Nero, Susan George, and Sho Kasugi, all familiar faces to anybody who loves action movies. $9.99 is about as cheap as I've seen this one. For some reason, it stays really expensive. It's normally around 18 bucks. So it's a ninja movie. I'm not going to get deep into the plot on this. You either like the cheesy ninja movies from the '80s or you don't. I love them. Um, let's see. Look at this. A Force of One. This is um, another Chuck Norris movie. This one's directed by Paul Aaron. There's him, Jennifer O'Neill, Clu Gulager, and Ron O'Neill. So this one is from 1979. He hears the silence. He sees the darkness. He's the only one who can stop the killing. One by one, a squad of undercover undercover narcotics agents is being eliminated by a mysterious assassin. Those felled are left virtually unmarked, except for the death, one cruel death mark. the work of a lethal martial artist to help discover the identity of the karate killer. That's pretty funny. The police enlist the aid of I'm sliding side to side with this because I'm zoomed in. Matt Logan, undefeated six-time world karate champion Chuck Norris. And then they list, his movies. So anyway, he has to go up against this assassin, martial arts, action, cop drama. Another one for the collection. I haven't been going into the extras because honestly, there are extras on some of these, but Kino Lorber's not the best at doing extras. $10, MSRP 29, so it's probably 17 normally. For me, it's a buy because I really like to upgrade these. And then we have another one. Good Guys Wear Black. And if you guys aren't into Chuck Norris, I swear I'm going to blow through these fast. It's Chuck Norris, Ann Archer, Dana Andrews, um, James Franciscus. This one is directed by Ted Post. So, like I said, I have several of these in here. If you're into Chuck Norris action movies, this is a good time to pick them up. This one probably will not stay because I don't know why it was listed for sale at $20. $20 is too much. This one's going to go away. I'm going to recommend holding on this one because it is $20. That is too much money. So I'm going to come back and just remove it right now. I'll move to wish list. Move it to wish list. See if it gets cheaper at some point. That's too much money. Again, if you see me skipping these, it's because I maybe haven't seen them or haven't seen them in a long time, but I think they're worth noting, and we'll come back to them. Gotcha. I've been meaning to add this to my collection for a while. I was just waiting for the price to come down. $10 seems pretty good. This is an 80s movie, stars Linda Fiorentino and Anthony Edwards. Also, Alex Rocco and Sue Garcia. This is from Jeff Canu, the director. I just talk about this for a brief moment. This is sort of during the era of when paintball is kind of becoming a thing among youth culture, and this movie is a riff on paintball. These guys play the game, and the main guy ends up being embroiled in some espionage type of things, and it becomes an action movie. So it's kind of a college age kid. So it's kind of a thing in the 80s to bring young people into like bigger spy thrillers and action movie type of situations. And that's what this one is. It's campy, it's fun, it's kind of hot. And, because look at Linda Fiorentino there. Anthony Edwards and Linda Fiorentino starred. I've just been meaning to add this one. I think it's fun. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. It used to play on cable quite a bit. So I just want to revisit. If you've seen it, talk to me about it. Okay, Hard Target. This one I already own. I'm going to take this out of the list here because I already own it. I just wanted to talk to you guys about it because I think it's a beautiful 4K restoration of this Jean-Claude Van Damme film, directed by John Woo. And you would know the minute you watch this movie because of the slow motion birds, doves particularly. This plays on the Most Deadly Game type of story, which I love, Man-Hunting Man, and it's literally what this is. And any riff on that is going to get my attention. And this also stars Lance Henriksen and Yancey Butler as villains. So, hey, this is a no-brainer. It's a beautiful 4K presentation from Kino Lorber, which is not always the case. They are not perfect with their 4Ks. So I just wanted to note that one to you guys. At $17.99 for a 4K from them, it's pretty good. I recommend. No, I don't need to save that one. I already have it in my collection. All right. Let's see. All right. So The Hard Way is Michael J. Fox comedy, stars James Woods. It's a cop drama. Michael J. Fox. It's a very familiar story. Michael J. Fox is an actor. He goes along with James Woods to learn the ropes so he can be a better cop actor. It's silly. This story has been done over and over again. I think this is the basis, not any real connection, but that showed The Rookie. Is it called The Rookie? Or is it? No, it's called Castle, right? The one that has Nathan Fillion in it playing an actor, or no, Nathan Fillion is a writer, I guess, in that show. I haven't watched it. I've just seen clips. Anyway, I think they're really similar stories. I just wanted to note this one is here. I'm probably not gonna pick it up at this point, but if you're into Michael J. Fox, $10, good price. I will add this to my collection at some point. I don't feel like this is the time, though. Just wanted to note that to you guys in case you wanted to add it because it is a good movie. Alright, let's move on. Let's see. This makes me scroll back all the way again. Okay, I'm not big into westerns, but High Plains Drifter is a special movie. Stars Clint Eastwood, directed by Clint Eastwood. In this story, he is basically a villain himself, but it's kind of the worst of two evils situation. He comes to a small town that's being plagued by bandits. They beg him for help. He agrees to help them, but he really takes advantage of his position in this town. It really is a dark story with an incredible visual ending. I'm not a Western fan per se, but this is a really good movie. This is something I've been wanting to add to my collection for a while. It's a 4K for 17.99. Highly recommended. It's staying in my cart. Okay. Oops, I clicked that one and I shouldn't have because I don't actually have actually seen one. Man on the Moon comes from Milos Forman, stars Jim Carrey and Danny DeVito, Courtney Love, weird, Paul Giamatti, early Paul Giamatti before he was who he is now. Um, this is probably one of Jim Carrey's best performances of his entire career. It's from 1999. And it's acclaimed biopic director Milos Forman, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's enough said right there. Jim Carrey, and they list Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is a good one to reference. Jim Carrey disappears, and I'm hearing noise in the background. You guys, I'm sorry. Into the role of the late Andy Kaufman. I'm not going to go much more into it except to say he literally becomes Andy Kaufman, and I think this may have pretty much nearly destroyed his career because he became so much of that character. He embodied the asshole that was Andy Kaufman, and I think it made him hard to work with, and I probably has some impact on why he had to go into therapy for so many years. So it's as much work as he put into it. I think it deserves our attention. We should take a look at it. $10. Goodbye. Goodbye. All right. The Martian Chronicles. Martian Chronicles is um, an interesting thing to watch. I've seen it. It's a miniseries, a TV miniseries from what year? From 1980. It has this very sort of, I don't know, kind of like 60s hippie-ish kind of vibe. It's really surreal, especially for a TV series. I really want to revisit this. I haven't seen it in so long. Um, let's see. They say newly mastered in HD. Making contact with was the beginning of the end. From the mind of legendary writer Ray Bradbury, which he kind of had this specific vibe to his stories anyway, not just this one. He also wrote Fahrenheit 451 and Something Wicked This Way Comes. That's a good movie also. But it springs what is perhaps his most epic vision, capturing mankind's first venture into the colonization of another planet and its tragic first contact with another species. The Martian Chronicles uh, is a stunning achievement that will take you from the edge of your seat and to the stars. I recommend this. It is a very quirky, weird vibe kind of science fiction thing, especially for TV. It has Rock Hudson and Roddy McDowall, so it's old school actors. Gail Honeycutt. Who else? Bernie Casey. I don't know that one. Darren McGavin seems vaguely familiar. Anyway, I just remember seeing this when I was a kid and thinking, this is so bizarre, such a weird thing. I really want to revisit. You get an entire miniseries here. It's $15. I think that's a pretty good buy. All right. We got 3 Chuck Norris missing in action movies. This is a Canon thing, at a Canon box set, Canon Films. These movies are a riff on the Rambo movies, except and Rambo eventually does this too, but he is a Vietnam vet who keeps going back to Vietnam to get prisoners of war over and over again. All 3 movies. You just get more and more outlandish, more and more action packed. Chuck Norris with machine guns and kung fu. Highly recommend. $29 for 3 movies. Why not? Directors of these movies: Joseph Zito is a name you know, Lance Houle, don't know, and Aaron Norris, I don't know. Recommended. Recommended. Gonna note this one, Mr. Majestic is another Chuck Norris movie, action movie. This one is from Richard Fleischer. It stars, obviously, I'm sorry, not Chuck Norris, Charles Bronson. Charles Bronson, uh, Al Lettieri, and Linda Crystal. I'm not gonna stick too much on it. $10. If you're feeling Charles Bronson like I am right now, just watching his old action movies, then there you go. So Mystery Men in 4K, that's pretty crazy. $18. This was directed by Kinky Usher. Don't know that name, but it stars Ben Stiller, Janine Garofalo, William H. Macy, Paul Rubens. Let's see, any other names we know? Lena Olin, maybe you would know. Hank Azaria, Kel Mitchell, Greg Kinnear, um, Jeffrey Rush, Eddie Izzard. I mean, this is just a who's who of 90s era comedians. 1999, this movie was made as a superhero spoof comedy situation, but it is before the MCU, before the DC movies, before the impact of those. So you get a more pure kind of comedy here that you don't get in modern superhero spoofs. So it's just fun and silly. I recommend. I'm very interested to revisit. $18 for 4K. All right, let's see. Again, the Octagon. I'm seriously just going to keep moving. Chuck Norris, Lee Van Cleef, Art Hindle, and Karen Carlson. Another Chuck Norris action movie. $10. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Okay. Out of Sight on 4K. This is $18. I hear it is a beautiful 4K. The movie comes from Steven Soderbergh. I love Steven Soderbergh. He has a very specific style. Uh, Unfortunately, a lot of people seem to really know him from Magic Mike. That's sad. I like his more experimental stuff. This movie stars George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez, Ving Rhames, Don Cheadle, Nancy Allen, Albert Brooks, Catherine Keener, Steve Zahn. It's like everybody you know in this movie. Michael Keaton, Dennis Farina. We just talked about him. Louis Guzman. What? Viola Davis is in this. Samuel L. Jackson. This is a crime thriller, steamy romance from Steven Soderbergh. Just buy it, guys. Just buy this one. I'm hyped for it. It's such a good movie. Jennifer Lopez, best movie. So here's another Ronan Flicks reissue of a Dario Argento movie that stars his daughter Asia Argento, Julian Sands, and is a riff on the Phantom of the Opera story, but it is with Dario Argento's spin. It's gory. It's shot beautifully. It's got great soundtrack. It's Dario Argento, and this is a good Dario Argento from 1998. I recommend. It's $10. That is a buy. The Real McCoy. This is not a good movie. It's from Russell Mulcahy. It stars Kim Basinger, Val Kilmer, Terrence Stamp. It's not a good movie. It's a silly action movie, but I love this sort of 90s era Kim Basinger. I just think she was gorgeous. She still is gorgeous, but she was gorgeous in that era, and I just love her. She's, sexy, obviously. I don't remember if there's a body double in this one. I know that there was a big deal made about The Getaway, one of her other movies, 'cause there was a steamy sex scene in it, but they used a body double, wasn't her. Anyway, this is silly. I just like Kim Basinger. It's $10. I'm not recommending it 'cause it's not a good movie, but it's in my cart. It's in my cart. Revenge of the Ninja, I have this movie. I just had to recommend it since I have the other movie in the cart. This was the start of the Ninja trilogy. This one um, was directed by Sam Firstenberg, who directed um, Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, and a whole variety of other canon films. Stars Sho Kosugi and Keith Vitale. Uh, Sho Kosugi plays a man who needs to avoid his past and move to the United States to start a new life with his family, but the crime lords follow him. His history follows him, and he ends up having to don the ninja outfit to take revenge and fight for his family. It's from 1983. It is cheesy, but for me, watching this on like USA or whatever on TV when I was a kid, this was one of my first sort of superhero movies because he literally was a superhero. I already have it, so I'm removing it from the cart. Oh my god, it scooted me back to the top. All right, you guys, I'm probably not going to have time to go through the cold buy, blind buy stuff in here. I may do a separate video for that. The Silence of the Lambs 4K is gorgeous. If you don't know Silence of the Lambs, where have you been? It's a Jonathan Demme movie starring Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster. It's a crime thriller, arguably a horror movie. I bought this one already. More than the $14 they're asking for a 4K. That's incredible. That may be the deal in my cart right now. But highly recommended if you don't have this one, now's the time. $14 for that 4K. I'll tell you, it does have extras, but it doesn't have all the extras from the Criterion Collection Blu-ray, so I kept my Criterion release also. Guess I'm sorry if this is a little monotone. I'm dragging a little bit today. Let's see. All right. I'm gonna have to jump around a little bit. Sleepless. I like this movie. This is an Argento film from 2001. Stars Max von Sydow and Chiara Caselli. Uh, I think this might be Argento's last good movie, to be honest. I don't know that he's really done anything good after this one. Again, another Ronin Flicks edition that has been reissued. Looks like no slip on this one, but that's okay because it's only $10. If you like Argento, you should pick it up. It's a shot on video affair, so it's a little cheaper looking than I like for Argento movies, but that's kind of where he is right now, unfortunately. Someone Behind the Doors is another uh, Charles Bronson movie. I actually haven't seen that one. So, Spaceballs. They obviously note here that it does not have a slipcover, so that must be an issue that they faced before. $18. It's directed by Mel Brooks. It is his spoof on the space movie thing, specifically Star Wars. Very, very funny classic movie. John Candy is hilarious in this one. Rick Moranis. It is $18 for a 4K. It is a buy. Let's see. Thirst. Thirst is $10. I already have this, but I wanted to point it out. It is a Chan Wook Park, or as you probably heard it, Park Chan Wook vampire tale. Beautiful, romantic, kind of hot, scary, good. Park Chan Wook. Chan Park Wook. Either way. However it's proper. Get it. Buy that movie. I have it in my collection already. The only thing I'll say about that movie is the subtitles could be better quality. Let's see. Moving forward. There's a lot of other good movies here, I'm sure, but I haven't seen them, or I haven't seen them in a long time. So they're just movies I want to see and add to my collection, but I can't comment. So I'll go with this last one here. Wanted Dead or Alive special edition. This is a cheesy 80s action movie starring Rucker Hauer. It also stars Gene Simmons from Kiss. So come on. How do you not want to see that? I've been wanting this one for a while. Finally down to $10, so now's the time. All right. So, you guys, I know I skipped a lot of movies that I have here. I had over 40 movies here, maybe 42, 43 movies here when I started. If you saw something that I didn't talk about that you'd like to hear more from me on, I would be happy to go, dive deeper into some of these movies. Just let me know what you're interested in, and we can either talk about it in the chat, or I can maybe do a second video to talk about that movie in particular. This is running long, so I need to bring it to an end. So let me know what you're picking up in the Kino Lorber sale. That card is pretty representative of what I want. I'll let guys know eventually what I buy. The sale goes to the 24th of this month as I record this. The only thing I will tell you is they will remove titles as they sell through them. So, but they don't do like Vinegar Syndrome. They don't tell you what's running out. So it's kind of a good luck kind of thing if you try to wait, like I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait. I have some events coming up where I'm about to spend some money, so these I have to wait just a little bit on my purchase. So let me know what you're picking up. Let's talk about it more in the comments and in future videos. Join me on my regular lives every Friday night on TikTok. If you're a TikTok user, join me over there 7 o'clock. It's a Friday Night Film Talk with some other great physical media collectors. I do OTS movies on that app. And otherwise, until next we meet, pull something cool off the shelf, share it with friends and family, and remind them why physical media at home is the best way to watch films and TV. I'll see you guys on the next one.